Scale design. Here at the nanoscale, you can design anything you want, from the very atoms which make up the world around us. In front of you is a DNA structure, which encodes within it the information that makes you, you. Reach your arm in front of you towards the DNA, then press and hold the grip button with your middle finger to grab the structure. This structure is known as insulin. It is the key component to regulating your blood sugar levels in your body. If you look closely, you can see a small chemical in the binding pocket you might recognize as Tylenol. To get a better view of the structure, let's scale it. To do this, reach out towards the structure with both your hands and grab it using the grip buttons with both of your middle fingers. Pull your hands apart like playing an accordion to make the structure larger. If you bring your hands together while holding the grip buttons, you can scale it down. You can move the menus to customize your workspace. Point at the menu, grab it using the grip button, then drag the menu wherever you'd like. You can also lock your menu so that it stays in place by pressing on the icon in the upper left corner. You have the ability to select different parts of the structure. For example, you can select the entire structure, a specific chain, individual residues, or even a single atom. In front of you is your molecular browser that displays your control panel for each of these categories. Select Chain A on your molecular browser by aiming your controller at the Chain A panel and pulling the trigger with your index finger. Once you select it, notice how a blue highlight spans around your selection. Now that you've selected part of your structure, you can apply a different representation by aiming your pointer at the Style menu and clicking on Van der Waals. Van der Waals view represents the atomic radius of the atoms, but there's other views too, so feel free to cycle through them. Let's modify our selection using the Modify menu in front of you. The blue highlighted molecule is a Tylenol that has been selected. We can separate the Tylenol from the protein's binding site by selecting Split. Aim your controller at the Split button and pull the trigger on your controller to separate your selection from the original structure. Now that you've split your selection from the protein, reach out your right arm towards the selected molecule and grab it. Press and hold the grip button on your controller to grab, and move your hand to move the molecule and rotate it around. In front of you is a list of the 20 common amino acids. While DNA is made of nucleic acids, proteins are made from these amino acids. DNA provides the instructions for life, while proteins do most of the work, acting as structural pieces, motors, carriers, and more. Proteins are found in cells, viruses, and anywhere else you'd find life. You can replace your current selection of a single amino acid residue if you select any of the amino acids in the menu. You can also go through the Rajower library to cycle through the possible conformations your residue may take. Aim your pointer at the mutate menu and select an amino acid by pulling on your trigger while hovering over an amino acid in the menu. Energy minimization simulations find the low energy states for your molecules. You can apply force fields onto your atoms by selecting a force field type from the menu and then clicking on Start Minimization. The universal force field is selected for you already. Run the simulation by pressing the Start Minimization button. The minimization will run on anything selected. Once you press the Start Minimization button, notice how the atoms update their position accordingly. If you grab the molecules and rearrange them, you can see how they interact with each other. Be careful though, if your molecules are too far apart, they may not interact with each other at all. Each force field gives us a different... Congratulations! You've completed the tutorial. Now it's time for you to explore the nanoscale world. We've included preset structures for you to load, but you can also import any structure you'd like from the RCSB protein databank. You're well on your way to becoming the future of nanoengineering. Welcome to Nanome. Now that you've gotten the basics down, let's explore the tool system. Click the next arrow on the tutorial menu to get started. Tools allow you to select parts of your structures, measure distances between atoms, or even build your own molecules. In front of you is the Advanced Selection menu. Point at the selection tool with your right hand and select it with your trigger. Notice how your right hand is now holding the selector tool. Your right hand now has the selection tool. This allows you to select different parts of the structure by reaching into the structure instead of selecting from the menu. Reach out your hand and pull the index finger trigger to select a chain on the protein structure. You can even hold the trigger while moving to select multiple structures. A purple highlight is shown when your selection tool intersects with the structure, while blue highlighted structures have already been selected. In front of you is your molecular browser. Your selection tool has different modes of selection. It's currently in the residue selection mode. This means that as you move your hand through the structure, your tool will only select individual residues. A residue is an amino acid that has become part of the protein structure. Notice how each amino acid residue on the structure has a backbone that connects to other residues and a side chain coming off the backbone that is unique to each amino acid. You can change your selection mode by using your thumb to swipe left or right on your joystick or thumb pad. Cycle through the modes to select individual residues, chains, arrange. In front of you is the Modify menu. Point at Measure tool with your right hand and select it with your trigger. Just like with the selection tool, now your right hand is holding the Measure tool. In order to measure between 2 points, choose the first point with your tool, then pull your trigger. Then choose your second point and pull your trigger again. Now you can see how many angstroms the distance you measured is. The Measure tool allows you to measure distances and angles in 3D space. In front of you is the molecular structure for caffeine. Notice how it has 4 nitrogens, 2 oxygens, and 8 carbons. Let's measure the distance between the In front of you is the Modify menu. Point at the Builder tool located on the Modify menu. Select the Builder tool by pulling your right hand trigger. Notice how your right hand is now holding the Builder tool. Look at the caffeine molecule in front of you. Do you notice anything different? One of the hydrogens that was bonded to the carbon is missing. Instead of replacing that hydrogen with another hydrogen, let's use the Builder tool to draw a new structure. Look down at your right hand, and you should notice an element label to the left of the tool that tells you which element you have selected. The tip of your Builder tool shows a preview of the atom that you are about to place. Reach over to the carbon atom on your caffeine and pull the index finger trigger while the atom at the tip of your tool is overlapping with the carbon on the caffeine. The carbon atom on the caffeine should now have a yellow ring around it, indicating that it has been selected as the starting point for a bond. Now, Take some time to get used to your tools by switching the modes of your tools and switching between your tools. To change tools, we use a shortcut that bypasses the menu system. Use your right thumb to hold down the top thumb button located next to your joystick or trackpad. While you hold this button with your thumb, you can move around your hand to point at hexagons near your hand representing the different tools you can use. Point up to select the selection tool, left and right for the builder and measurement tool, and down to return back to your regular hand. The middle finger grip button is always for grabbing and scaling, no matter what tool you are using, or if you're just using your hands. Now that you're a pro, let's connect you with other nanomers to help you get your collaborative juices flowing. The free version of Nanome allows you to join or create any public room and share with other users through a round-robin leader swap.